She manipulated the most tyrannical king in all of Joseon. In the drama, Kang Mok-ju bends the palace with whispers, charm, control. In history, Jang Nok-su did it with music, cunning, fear. She moved like a queen, spoke like a siren, and ruled like a shadow no one could escape. Kang Mok-ju, poised, calculating, always watching the king. Jang Nok-su, real, ruthless, rising from a slave to the most powerful woman in Joseon. She didn't just seduce a king, she shaped his tyranny. Jang Nok-su was born to two worlds, noble blood and chains. Her father was a scholar, her mother a government slave. And in Joseon, a child's fate followed the mother's. So Jang Nok-su was born a slave. She married more than once, not for love, but survival. She even had a son. But poverty clung to her like a shadow. She could vanish into poverty or step into the spotlight. She trained as a kisang, an elite entertainer. That decision changed her life and Korea's history. In the drama, Kang Mok-ju's past is mysterious. In reality, Jang Nok-su's was brutal, from slavery to seductress. Her voice was haunting, pure, clear, unforgettable. They said her singing could still a room. Her beauty? Ageless. Records say she was in her 30s but looked 16, a contradiction that mesmerized the court. Yeonsangun, the king, was obsessed with art, music, and escape. He noticed her, and he couldn't look away. Soon, Jang Nok-su was brought to the palace, one of the Hung Chung, the women whose beauty and talent fed the king's hunger for pleasure. But she didn't stay an entertainer for long. She became his muse, his obsession, his consort. In the drama, Kang Mok-ju entrances the king with grace and control. In history, Jang Nok-su used her voice and wit to capture his heart and never let go. In 1502, Jang Nok-su officially entered the palace. That same year, she became a royal concubine. But she wasn't just another favorite, she was the king's addiction. Yeonsangun had lost his mother young, executed for political reasons. He carried that trauma like a crown of thorns. And Jang Nok-su knew exactly how to use it. She scolded him like a mother, teased him like a lover. Rumors said she even rode on his back, teasing him like a lover. Whether true or not, her dominance was undeniable. In the drama, Kang Mok-ju whispers advice to the king. In history, Jang Nok-su whispered commands, and he obeyed. Jang Nok-su's power exploded. She gave birth to a daughter. Yeonsangun adored her, the woman who made him feel alive again. Her mansion grew so large, it forced neighbors to move. Her relatives gained high positions. Even her slaves were promoted. She traded favors, took bribes, and turned influence into currency. She used government ships to trade rice for profit. She built an empire within the palace walls. Historians say she turned Yeonsangun's grief into greed, his pain into rage. Together, they punished ministers, nobles, and commoners alike. In the drama, Kang Mok-ju receives gifts and titles. In history, Jang Nok-su handed out power and rewrote the rules. But every empire built on fear eventually cracks. In 1506, officials and soldiers rose against Yeonsangun. The coup was swift. The palace gates fell. The king was dethroned. Jang Nok-su was captured. As the new ruler took power, the people demanded her death. To them, she wasn't a victim. She was the poison behind the tyrant. They paraded her through the streets, humiliated, beaten, then executed. In the drama, Kang Mok-ju disappears into silence. In history, Jang Nok-su was silenced permanently. Jang Nok-su wasn't born a queen. She made herself one. She used intelligence, talent, and beauty in a world that gave women nothing. But ambition has a price, and in a kingdom ruled by men, a woman who wielded power was never forgiven. She became a legend and a warning. In the drama, Kang Mok-ju is feared. In history, Jang Nok-su was feared and erased. History remembers kings, but behind every tyrant, there's someone whispering in his ear. Jang Nok-su reminds us, power isn't always inherited. Sometimes it's seduced. And when a woman plays the game better than anyone else, she becomes unforgettable. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Hit that like button to support deep storytelling. Subscribe for more untold histories behind the dramas we love. And tell me in the comments, was Jang Nok-su a villain or the smartest woman in Joseon? Let's talk about it. Because history isn't just written by kings, it's whispered by the women they couldn't control.